Welcome to the Time to Fly podcast. It's time to give your business wings and take flight to achieve more impact, influence, and income with unique perspectives, tools, and tips from successful entrepreneurs and business professionals to help your business fly. Here to educate, encourage, and entertain you with their own unique perspectives and experience, plus sharing anecdotes of growing up as cowgirls. Here's your host, Nikole Haumont.
Welcome to this episode of the Time to Fly podcast. I'm your host, Nikole Haumont. Have you ever been at that point in your business where you're like, why am I doing this? Is it really what I want to be doing? What can I do to make it better? Is it the business or is it just something in my personal life? I recently had a Monday like that. And to make matters worse, it was a Monday. I work from home. My son went to school. My husband went back to work. And I came to my office all ready to work. And I'm just like, I don't want to be here today. But I had clients that needed stuff done. And so I got it done. And I was like, gosh, is this really what I want to be doing? Is Shield Bar marketing what I want to do? Is it really fulfilling me? Do I need to volunteer more? Do I need to do something else? And I ended up having a meeting with Coach Doug that day. Coach Doug is working with me as part of one of the Saharita Biz Edge competition participants. Shield Bar Marketing was one of 3 businesses chosen this year to go through this 5-month training with Coach Doug and also Ellen Curtin from the Small Business Development Center. We've been working on Franklin Covey, setting our goals, figuring out exactly what our wildly important goals were, and also going through the Profit Mastery course, which is 15 hours of training all on numbers. And we're at the point now that we're ready to prepare our 10-minute presentations to present in front of the judges and a live audience. And so I had my first meeting with Coach Doug, who part of his coaching practice is preparing people to pitch to investors for multi-million-dollar deals. This gentleman knows what he's doing, and I've had the pleasure of working with him at the Chamber of Commerce on a couple other things that are local to our area. So I've known Doug for about a year, and we really started having some good conversations the last few months. Well, I showed up to my meeting thinking, okay, well, I know how to speak. I know how to present. I can create a PowerPoint. Honestly, why am I here? And it turned into more of a coaching session / working on my presentation. And, Doug asked me, why did you start Shield Bar Marketing? What really made you say, this is what I want to do? And going through the story with him, I was like, you know what? I started Shield Bar because 1, I want to be able to work around my husband and my son's schedule. And 2, I genuinely enjoy helping small businesses. Now, when I worked at GoDaddy, I worked there for about a year and a half, and I was the top salesperson on my team. And I honestly was probably the top refunder on my team. When customers would call in, I'd look into their account, and usually they were calling for tech support or their website was down and they had no clue that their billing had expired, things like that. But I would take my time to visit with them and ask them what their business goals were, what they wanted to accomplish, why they had this product in their GoDaddy account, and things like that. And half the time, they had no idea of the products that they had. And so it's like, well, you never set it up. GoDaddy used to have a generous refund policy, so I'd refund it. Then we'd talk and discuss what they actually needed. So not only, like I said, was I the top salesperson on my team normally, but I was also the top refunder. And I also then moved on to the top team in the entire company between Arizona and Iowa into the hosted exchange and SSL program. And I would take phone calls. Usually our phone calls lasted 10 to 15 minutes. You worked an 8-hour shift, so you can figure out how many people I talked to on a day, 5 days a week. And I bet you at least once a day, I would have somebody either close to crying or actually crying when I got on the phone with them. And, once we got them calmed down and figured out what was going on, a lot of the times it was because a website designer had taken a huge payment from them and then never delivered on their promise. And I was just like, that's not right. And so when I left GoDaddy to raise my son, I said, you know what? I started designing websites back in 1999. I took a detour into print, and I want to get back into helping small businesses and having an ethical place for them to get information and have somebody who actually cares about the small business owner and design websites. So Shield Bar Marketing was born. We do websites, social media management and digital advertising, email marketing, logo design, graphic design. And honestly, after going through the hour and a half with Coach Doug, I'm like, you know what? I so needed this today. I haven't had a coach per se, one that I've paid for about 9 months now. Yes, I have my co-host Jill Fleming, but we work on a lot of projects together. So I've never technically hired her as a coach, but let me tell you, when I have things I need to find out and need to bounce somebody off of, Jill is my first phone call. So I highly recommend you schedule a phone call with her to see if you guys are a good fit to work together.
This episode is sponsored by the book Freedom to Fly, the Visionary Leader's Guide to Unlocking Your Unique Freedom Code to confidently create more impact, influence, and income. Get your copy of this best-selling book on Amazon.com.
But Coach Doug really reinvigorated me and made me realize, yeah, you know what? This is what I want to do. Maybe I do need to volunteer a little bit else so I'm around people. And I think maybe that's my biggest thing is I have a small team, but we're all virtual. And so there is no human interaction other than when I take Lincoln to Taekwondo or to golf or school drop-off, school pickup. It's all very routine and I'm not around people a lot. And I really do think I miss that. So as you go through life, consider hiring a coach, whether it's a life coach, a business coach, or a transition coach. In 2018, I had 2 coaches. One who started out as a health and wellness coach for me that morphed into a business coach, Lydia Martinez-Ebling. You can listen more about her story in episode 17 of the Time to Fly podcast. And then I also had Sye Wells, who's Lydia's business partner and who has a marketing company that is bigger than mine and definitely is a goal of where I want to go. You can listen more about Sye in episode 9. So as you go through life, seriously think about it. Do you need a life coach? Do you need a business coach? Do you need a transition coach? Do you just need a consultant to talk to? Do you need somebody to hold you accountable? It's okay to get help. And heck, maybe you even need a therapist. I don't think I'm that far to needing a therapist at this point in time. But I will tell you, if you are losing passion over something you've built, you need to think and research and talk to somebody and see if your why is still the why that you need it to be. And if it's not, there's no shame in selling the business you built and trying something new or picking up a side hustle. You know, I want to volunteer more. I decided that's one thing I need to do so I can be around people. But I'm also learning how to trade on the stock market. Granted, that's another thing I do in front of my computer with no interaction with people. But I figured, you know what? I hired a coach/mentor and am taking online classes for learning how to trade on the stock market. Well, there's just another way to learn faster. I know in stock market trading, they say, well, you can either spend money figuring it out and lose it all to the market, or you can hire somebody to teach you. Either way, it's still going to cost you the same. And that's the way it is with business too. You don't know what you don't know. You can listen to books, you can read all the articles, but sometimes it's having that coach that really brings out what you need to know. So this is Nikole Haumont thanking you for listening in to another episode of the Time to Fly podcast, and I hope you join us on future episodes.
A big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Freedom to Fly, the Visionary Leader's Guide to Unlocking Your Unique Freedom Code to confidently create more impact, influence, and income. Get your copy of this best-selling book on Amazon.com.
Join our flock. Stay informed of all things Time to Fly by subscribing to our newsletter at timetoflypodcast.com. And be sure to tune in to our next show.